Dort, wo das 2 days. Now, weil ich willkommen bin. Weil ich einen guten Job gefunden habe. Weil ich Abenteuer liebe, bin ich hierher gekommen. Das ist mein Erzgebirge.
Hello and welcome to the fourth flying day of the eGlide competition. We are here in Großzirkuswalde in Germany, just south of Dresden. My name is Mark. I'm joined today by Pascal, and we will guide you through this hopefully exciting fourth day of flying here in Germany. Hi, Pascal.
Hello, Mark. So just a quick introduction for the German viewers. Ja, hallo hier vom vierten Flugtag vom E2GLIDE-Wettbewerb in Großrückerswalde. Das Wetter sieht heute sehr gut aus, deutlich besser als die letzten Tage und wir erwarten wieder ein sehr spannendes Rennen. So back to English now. The first three pilots have launched, I guess. So we have some better weather today than in the last few days. It looks pretty good outside, good cumulus clouds, maybe a bit overdevelopment in the next house. So do you think this will be a big problem, Mark?
I don't think so. I think the pilots have gotten used to really bad weather we had in the last few days, and they are really happy with the situation that developed today. We can share the live radar picture. As you can see, no big rain patches in our area. We do not expect any heavy showers, though some drop of rain may surprise pilots during the day. We can take a look at the tasks today. It's going to be a bit longer task than in the first 3 days. We have 163 kilometers, I think. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, so a quick look at the task. We can see first to the east again, to the west, sorry, guys, in the direction of Zwickau, a little bit like yesterday, and then towards the northeast in the direction of Dresden, following the highway towards Dresden, and they have to turn near the airspace of Dresden, near the Delta airspace of Dresden, and then back to the south towards Großrückerswalde to the finish line.
Yeah, we have 2 proper turn points today and the last checkpoint at Volkstein, which I think we are all very used to by now. The task is very similar to the one they flew yesterday, just a bit bigger. For example, I think this is the turn point they were turning yesterday. The first turn point for them, and the second turn point, I believe, was this one, if I'm correct. Yeah, 063. So the task is extended a bit in both directions. Competition director is forced to follow a very similar path due to weather conditions. This is where we expect better weather conditions, also a bit higher cloud base, which should make pilots fly higher and also allow us to get better coverage on FLARM. We did have some problems with that, also some surprising results at the end when Sierra Alpha X-ray showed up in the end and took the second place. We have some changes in the final order, which we will go through a bit later after we go through the task and through the weather for today. We have joined you a bit later than usually. We already have a few gliders in the air together with our overall race leader, Matthew, who is, I think, favorite to win again today, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Diana is very good at a little bit better weather, but now we have, I think, quite good conditions. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how he will perform today because Diana is climbing really well in small thermals and narrow thermals. So we will take a look how he will perform today. Of course, he's won now 2 days, so he's in a very good position.
Yeah, and to get a better understanding of the situation in the area, let's go to our race director who will explain the weather situation for today.
2 days. Now to the weather of today. This is the satellite picture. We had really unstable cold air here. Yeah, we are here at this point, and you see there's a little humidity patch, and I think it becomes thinner, hopefully, and the limitation to the north will be this cloud, this cloud, which come here from the north side of the Elbe. And hopefully this one becomes so thin that there's usable thermals and clouds under it or inside this patch. The analyze, so we see that we are coming under high pressure, so hopefully the development of the clouds will not become so big because the high pressure pushes a little bit down and make it a little bit more stable or stabilize the air, hopefully. When we look at the meteogram for Chemnitz, there we see that there are in the around flight level 100 a lot of humidity left, but not so big that the sun is completely cut it off. So I hope that there is also some cloud on the ground, and then it's a cold air mass. So hopefully there will be enough thermals. There are some high convective clouds calculated for this day, up to 4 kilometers, with maybe some little rain showers inside. But between the showers, between the isolated showers, I think there are good conditions for flying, and with strong thermals when there's sun on the ground. When we look at the sounding for Chemnitz, there you see the really unstable air mass with that there will be some showers or some rain inside this air mass. For the wind is for the whole day more or less on northwest direction, but not so strong, around 10 kilometers per hour, I think. So we are here, and 10 kilometers per hour from northwest maybe is so I think average of the day. When we look at the cloud distribution from today, this is at 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock we are here in this area with the high cover clouds, and here you see the humidity patch in the region around Leipzig and Dresden, which we see in the satellite picture. And then there will be some cumulus clouds, which with overdevelopments in the higher mountains around Hof and Bayreuth, and here around Dresden there will be two big high clouds, and there will be no sun on the ground. So I think the only good weather window for the day will be also in the north of us, to Freiberg and Zwickau, this direction, like the last days. So sorry that you always have to fly the same route and see always the same region. Hopefully the next days we will get another track for you. But for this, you know the region now very well. I think you manage it. This is cloud distribution at 13 o'clock, 14, 15, and I think there it become a little bit drier, and Tormedio calculates some nice cumulus clouds in the flight area here. 16 o'clock, 17 o'clock, 18 o'clock, and I think the end of the thermals is around 18 o'clock or 6 o'clock p.m. This.
Okay, that was Marcus, our race director, talking about the weather today. I think you get the best view of the weather by listening to him, not maybe to us.
Yes, of course. I think he will prepares the weather very well, and he will take a look at it for maybe 1 or 2 hours. So he knows it, I think, better than we do. So yeah, we can see, I think, around half of the glider pilots already in the air, and I think they are climbing very good. And cloud base now for most of the pilots around the 1,300 meters, but we can see Stefan Ecosera there a bit higher. So this was what I saw outside, that there is a cut in cloud base, and some points there is higher cloud base, and we can see he's quite far away.
Yeah, he took his own approach to this start, flown a little bit to the south, where he definitely did found some better conditions. He's almost 300 meters higher than the rest of the gliders. Others that are high include Tango Whiskey and Lima Zulu of Luca, also two of pilots who we are expecting to score very good today. Let's maybe take a look at the live cam from the airport. It might not be focused very well on the background, but you can see some nicely developed cumulus clouds on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, the only disadvantages I think of this good air mass is that there are some small overdevelopments already, and I hope that will not affect the pilots too much during the race. And yeah, but I think they will manage it. I mean, this was the first day where there was sun in the morning on the airfield.
Yeah, as we can see, one of the gliders taking off right now. I think it's Whiskey Kilo, if I'm correct. Discus. We can also look at the grid for today. Gliders go one row ahead every day, so the first row was occupied by the pilots who are also the highest right now of Eco Sierra, Lima Zulu, and Lima Lima. The last three gliders to take off will be Fox Eco Sierra of Tilo, Fox of Uli, and Delta 3. These three gliders will be towed closer to the starting line to enable us to get the race going faster, so only 10-minute delay after the takeoff of the last glider. In usual soaring races, as you probably all know, it's 20 minutes. And when we will have the start time, we will, of course, let you know immediately.
Yes, we are in direct connection with Markus, the sports director, and he will inform us very soon after he made a decision. And maybe we can take a look at the results from yesterday, because there has changed a little bit. We saw that Sarah Alpha X-Ray landed, I think, second place, but Jan used too much energy, a lot of energy, so he fell all the way down to the 10th place. I think he was a little bit disappointed by that.
Yeah, he knew he went over the allowed amount of 2.5 kilowatt hours per day. Just so you know, we reduced this amount back to 2.0 kilowatt hours per day because of better weather conditions. But he just did not know how much too much did he use. So this promoted Robert again to the podium finishes. So he and Matthew now have 100% of the podiums. So they've been on every podium, but second place remained to Florian with a really, really good performance. We said that yesterday many times with his silent two. Do you think Florian will suffer today in these better flying conditions when we expect higher speeds?
Yeah, of course, this is possible, but he's a very good pilot, so maybe he can do a very good job again. And of course, the Silent is climbing very well in weak conditions, but also in good conditions. So, yeah, and here we can see the consumed energy, and we can see Sarah Alpha X-ray there at the bottom with 4,500 watt hours, so a lot. And he used really too much there. And he said to me that he couldn't feel the weak thermals anymore, because his weight is very high, because the batteries of the Antares, they are built in the wings, and the weight is very high.
Yeah, Antares having a different system than all of the other gliders. All other gliders equipped with fast system with the engine in the front and batteries in the back behind pilot, when Antares has his engine. Do you want to summarize maybe what we talked so far for our German viewers, Pascal?
Yes, of course. Ja, nochmal für die deutschen Zuschauer, also ungefähr die Hälfte des Starterfeldes ist bereits in der Luft, und wir werden natürlich rechtzeitig Bescheid geben, sobald wir von Markus, dem Sportdirektor, eine offizielle Abflugzeit bekommen haben. Und wir erwarten heute, wie vorhin bereits angedeutet, sehr gute Bedingungen, zumindest deutlich besser als die letzten Tage. Und wir haben gerade noch mal drüber gesprochen, über die Wertung von gestern. Jan Reinecke mit der Antares kam als Zweiter zur Landung. Allerdings hat er viel zu viel Energie benutzt und ist somit zurückgefallen auf Platz 10. Da sieht man auch, wie eng das teilweise beieinander ist, wie viel dann ein paar Minuten kosten, wie viele Plätze. Ja, jetzt kommen wir zu Uli, der hier etwas Probleme beim Wettbewerb bis jetzt hat. Er meinte zu mir vorhin, dass er durch die Vibrationen im Flug, wenn er den FES anhat, die Thermik sehr schlecht spürt. So, back to English now. I was talking to the German viewers about Uli, that he struggled a bit, and I did some interview with him, so we can take a look at that, I think, Mark.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. We saw him flying very, very low yesterday. The whole day he was struggling a lot. He does not feel the most comfortable here, I think, but he's a good pilot. I'm sure he will adapt. And for his reactions, let's go to the interview we made with him earlier today before flying.
So, very good morning, Uli, here from Großrückerswalde. So, can you introduce yourself to the viewers, just short?
Yes, I'm Uli Schwenk, coming from Münzingen, Swabian Alp. I'm a typical Alp origine and I fly since 1975. And it's the first time that I fly here this E2GLIDE, and I'm overwhelmed about the possibilities with this little electric powered engine to explore the weather and the short distance that is possible to compare your pilot skills with the other guests and competitors.
So it looks like you're struggling a bit. What happened in the last 2 competition days?
One thing is that we had to use the engine nearly always, and the vibration, I lose a little bit the feeling for the air masses, and these weak thermals with this electric propeller makes a little, for me, a big difference. If I fly without any power, I feel more. I feel the sky, and I have to learn. It's just to be a beginner.
Okay, then thank you very much, and we wish you a little bit more luck for the next days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was Uli telling us his reactions after 2 not so successful flights. I'm sure he will bounce back, maybe even today, and he can claw back some of the time he has lost in the first 2 days. Here on the screen now you can see the ranking in total. I'm sorry we do not have the time difference to the leader, but our favorites for the win remain the same as yesterday, I would say. Matthew being the first one, Robert, Luca, and Florian, 3 guys following him who have shown the really constant, really stable, constant flying behind them, always being there, just a bit behind Matthew, waiting for his mistake.
Yes, of course, and also Eric Schneider. He used very less energy yesterday, and 5th place, I think, for using that less energy is a really good result for him. He's a very good pilot. You can see that in these flights already. So if he uses the motor, the FES, a bit more, then I think he is also somebody who can score maybe from rank 1 to 3 today. Also, the Discus 2 is really good glider, I think, for this weather. Of course, the Ventus 3 also. So maybe we will get some different results today with the Diana. Is very good in, I think, a little bit more weaker weather. Or what do you think about the Diana?
I do expect a fight back from all the pilots flying Ventuses today, and I also think that the better weather will still suit Diana, as I think Matthew still has some room in the in the wing loading to put some water inside. In the last 2 days, I think some pilots, especially 2 days ago when we have a cancelled task, all of them actually flew without water, which is definitely beneficial for Diana in the weak thermals. But today, I would say we will see a really good performance from maybe Giorgio and Luca, and also Bob. I would say Ventuses will have a good fight back today, as I have put now also the time difference on the right side of the screen. The difference is in minutes, but decimals. So, for example, Robert is 10.8 minutes, so almost 11 minutes behind Matthew. He still has 4 competition days to claw back that difference, while on the other hand, people at the back who have outlanded in the last 2 competition days, so Giorgio, Stefan, Bob, Uli, and Richard really will have to now hope for some big mistakes from the leaders.
Yes, and what we can see if we look at our software here is that the base height is again not really high. I think we expected something higher today. Also in the briefing, Marcus told us that the cloud base, I think, will be up to 1,500, 1,600 meters. So far, it's pretty low with only 1,200. I mean, Stefan had something higher, a little bit more far away, but in the vicinity of the airfield, the cloud base is just up to 1,200. And we can see Victor Fox here in a pretty decent climb with over 2 meters. It looks very stable. And yeah, so it looks conditions are improving now again. And also, I think X-Ray has some good climb. I can see there in the distance, nearly 2 meters some seconds ago. So very good. I mean, we have some delay in our software, but I think very good.
Yes, the starting altitude for today, the start height is 1,400 meters above mid-sea level, which for now does not seem achievable for most of the pilots. So it could happen that it will be reduced. Why we do that is because these gliders do have electric engines. They could theoretically climb above the cloud base to start as high as possible. The consumption of electricity does not count towards the end result if it's used before the start. So theoretically, somebody who is at 1,300 meters below the base could find a hole in the clouds, climb a bit higher, and then start from there. But that would not be too safe. So the race director will try to avoid that by maybe lowering this maximum start height to, I would say, maybe 1,300 meters. But as we can see, and you have mentioned, some pilots like Bob now are able to climb already above 1,300 meters in the vicinity of the airport, while others are trying to find thermals further away. As you can see now, right on the bottom of your screen, Stefan in his Eco Sierra has decided to go quite far away from the airfield. We do not have his FLARM signal, probably because of that. This is, I think, a bit higher terrain if near the Czech border.
Yes, you're definitely right there. There's higher terrain. Maybe that causes a bit more higher cloud base over there. And we can see some pilots going to north of the airfield, while other group is trying to get lift on the more southern side. Yeah, we will see what will work, but I'm definitely there with you that Marcus maybe reduced the start height due to safety reason, because when all the pilots use the FES in front of the start line and then just have to fly near the clouds, very close to the clouds, I think this wouldn't be very good.
Yeah, let's take a look at our 2D tracking now, provided by OGN. We can see a big spread of gliders. They are not forming any big gangles at the moment, which is maybe more typical. Again, we can see Eco Sierra is all the way in Czech Republic now. This is, of course, inside our competition area, just not used today for the task. He is quite far away, I would say. He does need to calculate in that he will take some time just to arrive to the starting line and also lose some height doing that.
Yeah, I don't quite understand his tactic there because I think this is nearly around 15 to 20 kilometers away already. So if he goes back to the start line, then the clouds won't be any higher there. So he will lose the more height he has there now if he flies back. So what do you think why he's doing that?
I think he knows he still has quite a lot of time. I think we have 3 gliders still on the ground. So after they take off, well, while I'm saying that, we just have another one taking off. So 2 gliders left on the ground. Actually, correction, this is Robert just taking off. We still have 3 gliders, the whole last row on the ground. So I think Stefan can expect to have at least 15 more minutes to come back. He is there on his own. He can get a feel for the weather, although it's not the weather in the direction where he has to fly. But he can, as we see on the camera, the weather looks good far away on the in the background. He can just maybe relax us. He doesn't need to be so concerned about gliders around him, and I'm sure he knows he has enough time to come back and start the race when necessary.
Yeah, I think you can be right with that. Maybe he wants to relax little bit over there, and with the higher cloud base, maybe with some stronger thermals as well, and so maybe he can go a little bit back to the north, and maybe cloud base is higher there as well. But if we look to the north of the airfield, there are quite some gliders now. Maybe we can. Oh yeah, the cloud base is not rising a lot. I think 1,250 now with Bob, and Tango Whiskey 1,300 meters now. So yeah, it looks definitely like the cloud base is higher at the southern side of the airfield.
Yeah, we do not, pilots do not have a lot of influence over that, and they also do not have influence on where they have to fly. So if the cloud base is low at the turn points, that's basically what they'll have to do. While we wait for the last 2 gliders to take off, let's briefly summarize the rules we have here for any new viewers we might have today. So eGlide competition is flown in similar fashion than Sailplane Grand Prix. The only difference is that the gliders do have handicap factors which are imposed by the different distances they have to fly. So on your screen you can see our 2 turn points, and the 2 turn points are defined by circles of different radiuses. The radius, the biggest radius and the biggest circle is for the glider with the smallest handicap. This is today as the whole week Florian in his Silent 2, while the smallest circle here is for Antares of Jan. So, for example, Florian only needs to fly to the biggest circle and then he can turn back and head to the next turn point, while Antares has to fly all the way to the center. Antares has the handicap of 120, I believe. Other gliders here are in the order of circles. So the second smallest circle is for Ventuses, then is Electric Sharks flown by Uli and Stefan, and the next circle I think is for Discuses, and then the Diana of Matthew with the second smallest distance needed to cover reserved for Robert in his Sol LS8 Neo.
Yeah, good explanation. Maybe I can go to the German language again and explain for German viewers. Ja, also nochmal für die deutschen Zuseher. Marc hat hier gerade die Regeln auf Englisch erklärt. Also es gibt ein sogenanntes Distance Handicap. Somit kann man die Strecke ziemlich gut für jeden Piloten, sage ich mal, fair machen. Das heißt, die Flugzeuge sind natürlich unterschiedlich gut und schlecht, und es gibt dort teilweise sehr große Unterschiede. Das heißt, der Pilot mit dem schlechtesten Flugzeug muss eine deutlich kürzere Strecke als der Pilot mit dem besten Flugzeug fliegen. Okay, then I think we can switch back to Silent Wings and can take a look how the pilots perform before the start line.
Yeah, the as before, they're all just gathering height now. We still have Tilo and Delta 3 of Johannes on the ground. So start line will open in approximately 50 minutes for you viewers at home. All the gliders will start at the same time, and the first one across the finish line. We expect the task to last for, what do you think, around 1 hour and a half, 1 hour, 50 minutes?
Yeah, I think 1 hour and a half is good because I think the average speed will be quite high today. I mean, we can already see that there is sometimes quite good lift in the area of the airfield. So I think 1.5 hours, and then yeah, they will come back, and it will be, I think, again a very exciting finish. And I hope the coverage with the OGN with the Flam will be better than yesterday.
I'm sure it will be. We do expect pilots to fly higher. Also, we do go even further north, so to the flatter terrain. I'm not sure so much about how the um, FLARM receivers are there. Maybe you can tell me more about that if you have some knowledge of the local area.
Normally I fly, so I don't look at the OGN too much. But yeah, I think it's better there. I mean, there are not any hills in the way to block the Flam signal away, like we experienced it yesterday, where they were sometimes lower than the airport elevation, which is quite unique. I mean, you only experience something only with E2GLIDE, I think, that you are lower than the airport elevation in the lower terrain.
Yeah, of course. As we say so many times, all the gliders equipped with electric engine. We do believe this is the future of soaring, and it provides a clean way of propulsion for this aircraft, and also a safe way out for the pilots when they find themselves in a difficult situation. We do have some live camera pictures from Chemnitz, which the pilots will have to navigate around this time today. Their flight path goes just north of Chemnitz. Yesterday they flew just over it, and we can see that the weather looks much nicer than yesterday.
Yeah, we can see that there are some, maybe already some smaller cloud streets moving up. So, but to the right side of the picture, we can see no clouds. We can't see any further than that. But maybe there, that's what Marcus said, that there is maybe a little bit blue thermals over there. Yeah, I hope that this will not affect the pilots too much, but I don't think so. And
I'm sure pilots will be happy with the amount of clouds they have today. I spoke with Luca yesterday after flying. He said he had to use the engine for 40 minutes. 40
oh,
minutes of
that's
engine time. Of course, not on full power. That would be too much. But uh, he really said he is using a lot of resource of his engine here. Uh, just for you viewers to know, Chemnitz is located here. So, and the camera we were watching, I think, is turned towards the west. But
okay.
don't take my word on it.
When it's pointing to the west, then I think I told something bad there, and then it looks really good on their flight path.
You might be right. I'm I'm not sure. We had the camera we were looking at. I think on the first day was pointing west, so I still
Okay.
have that in mind. But I will check right now.
Yeah, and already what Marcus already told earlier, that we have northwesterly wind, so I think no leg is pointing in the direction of the wind, or no leg will have a very strong wind from the back. So pilots can't do a lot of tactics with the wind today, I guess.
Yeah.
And we have nearly everybody launched. I think only one pilot left, so I think we can expect a start in just 10 minutes.
Yeah, we still have Johannes on the ground, so just over 10 minutes to go. As some of the tow planes are already, I think, getting parked back, as we only need one air tow to get everybody up in the air. We also have some images from the first turn point. It's not exactly there, but in the vicinity. This looked nice. This really looks nice.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and I think we will get quite some high average speeds today with that good weather. And yeah, a bit over development behind this church there, but I think it will not get too bad. I mean, we are quite early in the day so far, so over the developments, I think they will get some rain just later in the day when the pilots are already back.
Yeah, we can also, but I do have a bit worse images now here. This is from vicinity of Dresden, so further onwards on the task, so towards the last turn point today.
Oh, I think in the right corner there it says 2 days ago.
Oh,
So I
I'm sorry.
think it's a bit of an old picture. So otherwise, this would be
Yeah,
really hard to fly there.
that would be bad. Yeah, I'm apologize for that. Let's find something more current. I
Yeah,
would
this
see
one is just
this one.
7 minutes old.
7 minutes old. This one looks better. That's what we do. We just find a camera where the weather looks nicest and show it to you. I think this is a good tactics, and pilots will be happy about that as well. That again, a really, really nice view here. We see some nice cumulus clouds in the back. Some of them are already getting a bit scattered, but I'm sure with the help of FES, if nothing else, the pilots will be all able to finish today's task much easier than yesterday.
Yes, of course, they are all very experienced glider pilots, so I think they can adapt to this situation very well. And also with some scattered clouds, I think they will get strong thermals from time to time. So yeah, I think it will be a very exciting race today, very fast, I guess. And now we can see that there's a bit of gaggle already before the start line, so they have to go back in just some minutes, and another gaggle just behind the start line already, so they are in a very good position. And now we can see the cloud base already rising. A lot of pilots are now above 1,400 meters MSL, and some over 1,300. So maybe there is no need to change the starting altitude back to something lower.
Yeah, I honestly think no, there shouldn't be a need for that. This it means that cloud base has risen high enough that we can have a safe start from that altitude. As Johannes in his Delta 3 has just taken off, so we do expect to have the announcement of the start time in just a few seconds. Until then, we will take a very, very short break, and we will be back with you in just a minute.
Guten Morgen hier an der Flug.
Okay, and welcome back to the eGlide competition. We are just around 10 minutes away from the start. Still no official confirmation on when the start time will be. While we wait, we still have some interviews in store for you. We made a really nice small piece with the people who are helping to make the competition happen, essential people who work on the grid and on the start. It's in German, so Pascal will translate it later for all of you English viewers. Let's go to that now.
Guten Morgen hier an der Flugleitung.
Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen.
Wir wollten bloß mal kurz fragen, was eure Aufgabe hier ist.
Ja, wir organisieren hier den Schleppbetrieb für den Wettbewerb. Es wird jeden Tag eine Aufgabenstellung gegeben und wir bauen entsprechend den Start der vorhandenen Windrichtung auf. Heute haben wir die Startrichtung 2,9. Da kontrollieren wir den Platz, dass er einsatzbereit ist, dass keine Gegenstände auf der Bahn liegen, einmal und dran. Und dann gucken wir, wie die Starts vollzogen werden, dass die Seile ordentlich eingehangen werden und dass der Start entsprechend ordentlich gemeldet wird. Und wir tun natürlich den Flugbetrieb in der Luft koordinieren, wenn die Schleppflugzeuge dann wieder zur Landung kommen, dass die ordentlich ihre Position melden und der Reihe nach ordentlich runterkommen. Und dann werden die entsprechend eingewiesen, vor welchen Segler sie wieder zu rollen haben und dann wird der Schleppbetrieb hier durchgeführt. Dauert bei diesen 15 Maschinen ungefähr eine Dreiviertelstunde maximal.
Alles klar, danke. Dann noch einen sicheren Wettbewerb.
Danke, das hoffen wir auch.
So, can you
yes.
translate this into English, please?
Yes, these are the guys which coordinate takeoffs and landings and also the traffic around the airfield. And they look for any safety concern. They try to make everything smooth for the takeoff, especially that every pilot launches in time there. And yeah, they done a really good job so far, I guess. No concerns about them.
Yeah, definitely. These are the people who are essential to make competitions happen. Of course, you need pilots, but on the other hand, you need organizers who are doing really, really good work today. Also, big thanks to all the helpers who are helping on the grid, retrieving gliders if they land out. And again, really, really nice job from everybody here in Gross Rückeswalde.
Yeah, and we can see that there's two gaggles now forming, I guess, when we look at the 2D picture. And they are a bit in front of the start line already, so we don't have any time for the start line to open yet. Maybe we will receive it, or maybe just Marcus forgot to write us. He's very busy during these days, and I think he doesn't get too much sleep, and he has to take some holiday after this competition.
Yeah, I heard he's really working hard for the last few weeks to get everything in place. I remember him calling me a few weeks ago. We spoke about doing the live broadcast, and he's really on top of all of the tasks he has to do. Has a good control and overview of everything, and I'm sure he will not forget about us here in the broadcast booth, and will give us the information about the start time, so we can then put it to you viewers.
Yeah, now we can see maybe the first gaggle, which was on the western side, maybe flying behind the start line, because it looks like they are now going into the direction of the start line again. It's the other gaggle, not the gaggle we can see right now on the screen. Maybe we can change to them. It looks like they are not firming that much anymore.
Yeah, the first gaggle looks better, more promising. Also, it's situated closer to the start line. 1 minute before the start line, pilots are not allowed to be on this side of the start line that you can see them now. This is due to safety, so they do not fly in the opposite direction of the pilots who might be starting right on time or a bit early.
And now we have some some new information from Marcus. So start line will be open 1325, so that's 1:25 p.m. And also, what we didn't expect, that the maximum start altitude is reduced to 1,300 meters. So we can see quite some pilots which are already higher. But I mean, this is the decision from Marcus, and yeah.
I'm sure it's done for everybody's safety in mind, and it's the right decision. We will try to put the start time also on your screens, but for now, just so you know, it's 1:325, if I read back that correctly.
Yeah, it looks the same for me. I mean, it's some time to spend. I don't know why he made the decision like that. Maybe we can have him later here again, like yesterday on the live broadcasting here, so he can tell us a little bit about why he made the decision like that.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows the best, and I'm sure he can also explain us some other details that we do not know about, also about the task today, also maybe who his favorites are, and I'm sure we'll get some of his reaction during today's task.
Yes, and I think Marcus is also in direct communication with the pilots, so they can tell him if they are in any trouble or if the weather conditions are not as expected. But I think they are quite good, and we can see more and more pilots flying towards the starting line. We can see Echo Sierra here again, and he's a bit low, so he was quite far away from the starting line. But now he's back near the airfield, and he's climbing again in a not too good climb, I think, for this day. Only 1 meter per second, I guess. So yeah, he's the lowest now, so he has to gain some altitude again to get a position for the start line to open.
Yeah, he still has 10 minutes to go, so I don't think it'll be problematic for him. Although we can see Florian just flying right above him and decided not to join this thermal. I think Florian is flying towards the bigger gaggle, a bit up front, where they do seem to have a bit stronger values. But I don't think that's any problem for Stefan. He still has 10 minutes to go, which is a lot. As we said before, the race director has moved the start away a bit, so all the pilots now can relax again for, I would say, 5 minutes before their final preparations for the start of the task. We will be back in around 5 minutes when the pilots begin to get ready for the start, and we have a good flying day up ahead for you, so don't miss out. Okay, and welcome back to the coverage of the fourth flying day of eGlide competition. Uh, Thanks to help of Angel from Spain, we are now able also to give you the start countdown on your windows. Thanks for supporting us as always. He he's the person who really made all of this happen with his support in all the technical departments. So thank you. Let's look at the situation now. On your screen, we can see pilots, most of the pilots circling in one of the gaggles. We are 5 minutes away from the start. Altitudes are rising, so with the kind of altitudes the pilots have right now, we do expect them to start quite close to the maximum allowed starting speed, which is 180 kilometers per hour, and the maximum starting altitude, as we said before, is reduced to 1,300 meters about mid-sea level, so roughly 100 meters lower than where our top highest pilots are right now. Only exception maybe being Robert, who decided to go a bit away on his own. He's a bit south from the starting line, somewhere in the area when Stefan went before. And again, the story repeats itself. He got a little bit higher than everybody else and still having a really, really good thermal. But I do not think this will use him that much, as there is just a certain amount of energy he's allowed to have at the start. So this 1,300 meters about mid-sea level and 180 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, I think we will see a very fast start today. I think all pilots will use the 180 kilometers per hour. Yeah, hope that nobody exceeded it and get some penalties for that. But I think they are all very experienced in competition flying, and we see that a lot, that the altitude and also the maximum speed is reduced to a value, and we can see Robert now over 1,500 meters, still climbing, but now it looks like he left his thermal and flying towards the start line, and we have 3 minutes left now, and a lot of the pilots are still really close to the starting line. So it will be, I think, a very good start for all of them. Nobody is falling out. Nobody, no exception here. Yeah.
Maybe Richard now, he's flying where Robert used to climb. He's 1,100 meters high, and he still has to get back. Let me focus on him. He seems to be the pilot most in the most the worst situation right now. And he I think he went for where Robert was circling and now changed his mind, going back to find the thermal somewhere else. I'm sure he sees something in front of him and he will try to move there, maybe where Victor Fox is right now. He has a weak thermal just below the cloud base.
Yeah, I think if he don't find anything right now, he should maybe use a little bit of his FES. This won't affect the competition, because the FES airplanes, they have around 4 kilowatt hours capacity. So during the flight, during the actual race, they are only allowed to use 2 kilowatt hours. So he can use a little bit of that without any penalties, without any problems for him there. So I think he will get back into position, but I think he should start using it in just a few seconds. Now he's again under 1,100 meters, and he is, with this height, he's the lowest.
Yeah, that's a good point. Pilots do have, I think, at the minimum 4.2 kilowatt hours of energy. For example, 1 kilowatt hour of energy can get pilot around 300 meters higher. It depends, of course, on what airplane do they fly. But if we assume that Richard hasn't used any energy so far, which is probably true, same for all the other pilots, I think he can sacrifice this 1 kilowatt hour and get a bit higher, so he get a good start like everybody else. As we see all the other pilots now getting together into one gaggle. Also, if we look at the 2D view, everybody close bunched up together and ready to start.
Yeah, big gaggle now performing there, just maybe 100 meters behind the start line, and we have 45 seconds to go. So I think they will make a good start. Yeah, a little bit sad for Richie there. Just 1,000, nearly 1,100 meter high now in his in Bravo 17, and yeah, but I think he's a good pilot. So he found some lift now over 1.5
Maybe
meter.
he turned on some lift, as we were
Yeah,
discussing
that's
before.
possible, but I
Both people.
think with turning on the FES, he would fly towards the start line, so he's still circling there.
Yeah.
But he has only 15 seconds, so I think he should move towards the start line now.
Yeah, of course, the time on there not completely synchronized with the actual time, but we are about to see the start right now. First pilots are going towards the start line. We will have a really nice formation start led by Tango Whiskey, 7-1, Eco Sierra, and Fox Eco Sierra. They're the first one over the finish line. Starting speeds a bit lower than we expected. And also altitudes seem a bit high. I hope they did not go too high through the starting gates.
Yeah, maybe Marcus changed something there in the last seconds. I don't know if this is a good idea for him, but yeah, we don't know which speed this is. I mean, the 180 kilometers maximum is ground speed, and yeah, so I think we can see everybody starting now. Even where is Richie now? Can we just focus on him a little bit? He's still behind.
Oh, that does not seem smart from my perspective. Of course, he knows best what he's doing, but it does not seem like a good move for him. Let's go back to the front.
Yeah.
I can show you on the 2D screen now that all the pilots have probably seen something here south of the path they have to follow. Probably a good lift, a nice thermal. This is the area where I think Robert and Stefan went before. This is the city of, I will not even try to pronounce that.
Yeah, that is Annaberg-Buchholz, and I think it looks like this is the best option so far, and they are flying towards what you can see on the left side there, which is Gaia. It's a very, very good area for thermal activity. Local pilots use this area a lot, and it looks like everybody is doing the same decision here so far. And we can see Tango Whiskey still in the lead there, also quite high, with the only one with 1,400 meters. Yeah, and he's done a great job so far. Everybody's following him now.
Yeah, we have Tango Whiskey in the lead, followed by Salman and the whole gaggle. It's really nice to see start like this today. It really good. Looks
Yeah,
good.
it's really nice to see everybody still together. Nobody's falling out. Just one exception here, Richie. But maybe he can just roll the field from the back. And yeah, he's a good pilot from the UK, all the way from the UK here to Germany. Very long way to drive. And yeah, we can see behind Tango Whiskey now 71 again, Robert Schroeder, which did very good first two competition days, and also X-Ray with Florian behind him, and
And
what
I
else?
think Richie has decided to start now. He's not that far behind. Definitely he can catch up, although he's still the pilot who is lowest. The speed that you can see on the screen is ground speed, so don't worry, he's not flying 60 kilometers indicated.
Yeah, and maybe he can find a good energy line. I mean, every pilot is flying in this direction, so I think there must be kind of a cloud street or energy line over there. So yeah, they all did the same decision here during the start. I think nobody will fall back because everybody is flying here, and we can see quite some high speeds. I mean, up to 190 kilometers per hour, so quite fast. I think this will be an exciting, very fast race today.
Yeah, it's really nice to see us now. We have a virtual look from the cabin of Giorgio. He's just behind the leaders, so he has a really good overview on what's happening in front of him. We can see now that some gliders, for example, X-Ray on the left, is not maybe able to keep up with the same pace, the same speed as gliders with a bigger wingspan. So maybe the theory of today being the day for the Ventuses is proving out to be true.
Yes, of course. I think Ventus 3 and also the Antares with this high wing loading is maybe a bit privileged for this flight today. And yeah, we can see that the race is performing really well, and we can see that the pilots have
Also, not losing any altitude at
yeah,
this
not
point. They
losing any
are
altitude. They are sometimes reducing the speed, so this is where there's some lift areas where they reduce just to fly a little bit slower through lift areas, and yeah, this makes you really fast if you don't have to thermal a lot, if you just can fly really straight. And we can see Tango Whiskey still in the lead, and the pilots behind him do not come closer so far.
Yeah, we have sadly lost the signal of a few of the pilots. Sierra Alpha X-Ray for being the first one of them. He has the worst FLARM reception. Uh, again, Jan has sent us the link to his current GPS location via WhatsApp, and we will look at it from time to time to tell you if he is with the group or what's his situation. And while we do that, we can go to the 2D view and see how everything looks up from the bird's eye view. We see gliders have taken a path towards the south, probably now following a good cloud stream or something like that. Everybody still seems to be together in the same group, only exception being the Richard, who we lost already at the start and is now terminaling just after the start line.
Yeah, very sad for Richie at this point. He is just falling a bit behind, and he has to thermal to get access to the energy lines again. And we can see now Tango Whiskey flying a little different way, a different path there towards a very good thermal area over the so-called Gaia, which is a big forest area with a TV station, I think, in the middle of it. So yeah, there's always, or most of the time, good lift there. Yeah, and we can see if we take a look at the live position of Sarah Alpha X-Ray from Jan, that he's also quite near the Gaia area. So I think he's in the big group of gliders still, and he's not losing anything there. And I think the Antares will perform very well today with the high wing loading. I think around 47 kilograms per meter.
Yeah, what hurts Jan the most is the fact that he has to open the engine, and that produces a lot of drag, while other pilots can simply turn on the switch. And basically, how the fast system works for people who are not aware, the nose of the airplane is also the spinner of the propeller, so the whole nose starts spinning, and glider gets some thrust. While in Jan's case, the engine opens at the back. The engine is stored behind the pilot as more conventional. This is more conventional method. Engine is still electric, so he gets the same allocated amount of energy. But of course, with heavier glider and the engine that produces more drag, he's in small disadvantage already at the beginning. We had a really exciting start here. Do you maybe want to tell our German viewers what happened in the last 5-10 minutes of racing here today?
Yes, of course, I will do that for the German viewers. Also jetzt nochmal an alle deutschen Zuschauer. Wir hatten einen sehr guten Start von fast allen Piloten, bis auf Bob, der etwas Probleme hatte, vor der Abfluglinie die Maximalhöhe zu erreichen. Der musste dann der musste dann direkt etwas kreisen, während die anderen Piloten, ich denke, eine sehr, sehr gute Energielinie fliegen konnten und viel Höhe im Geradeausflug halten konnten und bis jetzt noch nicht kreisen mussten. Das macht natürlich den Wettbewerbsflug dann sehr, sehr schnell. Und wir gehen davon aus, dass dass der Ventus und natürlich auch die Antares heute gute Chancen haben in diesem sehr, sehr guten Wetter. Und wahrscheinlich werden wir heute sehr hohe Geschwindigkeiten erreichen. Yeah, now Mark prepared another live cam from us. Can you tell us where that is located?
This is located around, I would say, 5 to 10 kilometers further on the task. It looks really nice again. Also, really picturesque landscape. I really like it here in Germany. It looks amazing everywhere I look. It looks exactly like this. Beautiful weather. You can see quite some strong development here, which could maybe turn in the negative direction already soon.
Yeah, but I think we will have some very good hours now, and maybe in the late afternoon, the overdevelopment gets too strong, and we will maybe have some rain, maybe not. And yeah, we can see the airplanes now flying over this famous area, the Gaia there, and Tango Whiskey is still in the lead. He does a very good job there, all alone at the front. And I think most of the pilots follow him now. So yeah, only Tilo a little bit to the south, and somebody's there with him. Maybe we can take a look at Tilo and Victor Foxtrot. So we can take a look if they are higher. No, I don't think so. They are a bit lower.
Yeah, they took their own approach. They do not follow the main group. They are just roughly a kilometer south of them, but following them parallel. They're also a bit lower, around 100 meters lower, while Tango Whiskey is still in the lead and also in a very, very good position as he is among those gliders who are the highest right now. We have lost the signal from Jan, Eric, and Stefan. Also, the free gliders, we have lost the signal yesterday, and the highest glider of those whose location we do know right now is Robert, currently I think second in the overall standings. He's flying very strong, while Matthew is holding a bit back. He's not in the lead of this gaggle, but we still have a long way to go, and a lot can change. If we go to the 2D view, we can now see that the gliders we have focused on a bit earlier of Uli and Tilo have decided to turn even further south. Maybe they saw a good thermal, a good cumulus, and they will try to thermal there or find a good cumulus street to follow to the first turn point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw something there, maybe a really nice looking cloud. We will see if this off track will do the job here, because I mean it's I think 70 or 80 degrees off the track, so yeah, quite the way around.
It has to be a really good conditions there in order to justify this change of direction. Their path will definitely increase by a lot. And what I find interesting is that not many guys decided to follow them. Um,
Yeah, they are doing their own job there.
the first big decision of the day, I would say. This
Yeah, I
could be
would say
crucial.
this could be really crucial. I mean, Tilo always around in the middle for scoring, and he's a really good pilot. And we will see how he will perform today. And we can see now below 1,000 and 1,000 meters, while Tango Whiskey is still around 1,050 meters high over there.
Yeah, we did see really bold decisions from both of these two pilots. Tilo in the first day flying alone in the front, then he made some mistakes, had to save himself also with the help of the electric engine. On the other hand, Uli has been solo flying for the whole competition here, as we heard at the beginning, not working too well for him. But at this point, with so much time lost in the first two competition days, they do not have much other choice than to just try something different, try something new, as we sadly just lost the signal from both of them. We do expect to have worse signal here in the south part of the task. So let's go back to our leading group. Tango Whiskey still in front. None of the gliders have found any thermals yet, or at least have not found any thermals worth circling. We do have back the signal from our current combined race leader, Matthew. He's just in this group. And behind him, X-Ray of Silent is, I think, holding on really well. He did not lose any time in this first stint.
Yeah, he's doing really well with this silent there against the others, and maybe Matthew don't want to risk too much today. Maybe just doing some faster flying at the end, and maybe we can see him. I think in the 1/3 again. I think this would be also great place for him today with the Diana competing against Ventus 3 and also the Antares with very high wing loading, and they are very strong in these good conditions that we expect today. And what I also asking myself is, yeah, what's the best strategy today for using the energy? What do you think?
Yeah, we have a very different situation than the days before, when energy was basically used throughout the flight just to not to outland.
Yeah, and to stay near the clouds.
Yeah, yesterday I think we didn't see any proper strong thermals up until the second half of the task, and the pilots were basically forced to use the engine all the time on a really small energy consumption, just to hold that uh, small rate of descent or maybe some small positive rate of climb. But today they will probably try to save the energy as much as possible for the end, so they can also maybe surprise their competitors, which they are flying near to, with like the final boost of energy. Pilots do know when other pilots are using the engine; they can see it, but they have no idea how much energy they have used so far or how much energy they are using at the moment.
And what Florian told me about that, you can see it when you're very close only. So from the distance, you can't really see if the pilot uses the engine. I mean, your own airplane is always in movement, and yeah, sometimes from the distance you can't see if he has some energy line there or is just using the FES. But that's really imaginable to that they will use the energy on the last leg to make a very fast last leg and surprise their competitors how much energy they have left for this day. And what we can see is that in the lead the speeds are not too high. I mean, always around 120 kilometers per hour. So I think they are just trying to stay at the same height and not waste their time in any thermals. And you can see this on this slide movements to the left and to the right where they expect some lift under the predicted cloud street over there.
Yeah, let's maybe take a look at where Jan is, if we have his location. Can you read out the
Yeah,
name of this?
he's near the city of Stolberg. Maybe we can
Find
take a
that on
look.
the 2D map. Let me just put that on screen for our viewers right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's in the big gecko with the other pilots, and now it looks like they found the thermals. Some pilots start to circle over there.
Yeah, it looks like this might be the first thermal of the day. Georgia, the one in the lead right now. We'll see how many pilots will decide to join him. Well, if we look a bit further back, Uli has found something. We presume Tilo is also somewhere nearby, and he seems to be circling. I will put up the information about Vario up on the screen for you right now. So we can see around 1.2 meter climb for Uli at the moment. Um,
And it looks like the big gecko has found something even better. We can see Tango Whiskey now with over 3 meters. So there's, yeah, and 71 also with over 3 meters. I think now confirmed that there is a really good lift. So if Uli has only 1.5 meters behind them, then this is a big problem for him, I guess. And now 71 with over 3.7 meters per second. So a very good climb.
yeah, these values are of course derived from GPS data. So this is not the integrated Vario that pilots use, but if we see a constant value over, for example, 3 meters for the whole circle, we can assume that the um, climb they have is roughly the right amount. Also, the gliders who decided to thermal a bit further uh, on, gliders like Yankee, Lima Zulu, and Delta 3 have found a good thermal and are circling now. And X-ray of Florian is joining just below. We presume that Sierra Alpha X-ray and Echo Sierra and Whiskey Kilo are also presumably here with them. And Uli has decided that his thermal is not strong enough and will probably try to join uh, or at least come closer to where other pilots are flying.
Yes, and on the 2D view, we can already see some pilots leaving this terminal again. I think they are already at the cloud base again. I mean, it was a very strong lift over there, so they did not last there any longer than some minutes because if you have such strong lift, you only need around 2 to 3 turns, I guess, over there to be at the cloud base again. Yeah, and it looks like everybody in the gaggle did did use this energy there to get back to the cloud base, and nobody wanted to race on. So, Mark, what do you think? Did any of the pilots use some energy already?
No, I'm pretty sure no. That now that I think back, that was a really confident no. Probably not. I would not expect them to. I think they will save as much energy as possible till the end, so they did not need to circle in the final glide. They can just fly straight, use the remainder of the energy left, go as close as possible to that 2.0 limit, and yeah, use the energy at the end. I think this is the best way to go.
And I think we have a guest again here, Marcus, the sports director. So I think Mark will talk to him, and maybe Marcus will talk about his decisions he made before start line opening. So we will see you in just a few minutes. I will be back there.
Hello, Marcus, our race director here with us. Hi, nice to have you back here.
Hey, Mark.
As you can see right now on your screen, this is the situation in the air right now. We have one big group forming, flying just north of the task, and we have some vigilante flying alone in the south. This is Tilo and Uli.
Yeah.
What do you think about today's task, today's weather? Your thoughts?
Yeah, the weather is much better than I expected, I think. When I look outside here, the cloud base looks really nice clouds in the shape. Yeah, the first launches, they all get the thermals really good after aerotow, I think. And I hope that in the flatlands there are no overdevelopments and spreading out of the clouds. Here in the higher mountains at the Fichtelberg and Keilberg, there are a lot of spreaded out clouds. So this or can cause some problems. And I hope there in Zwickau, I look at the webcam 5 minutes ago on the airfield. So the webcam there looks really nice, clouds, and I think the first leg for the pilots was really fast when I look at the glider tracker or on the live tracking. So they just flew 20 minutes and now get the first turn point.
You decided to postpone the start time a bit. After the first takeoff, we had around 15 minutes of waiting. Why?
Yeah, the last days was a really short window with flyable weather. And for this, I reduced the start line at the start time between the last takeoff and the first, when the start line is open. So the last day was only 10 minutes because I want to short this time. And now for today, I think we have really good weather for a long time until I think 4 o'clock or something. So we have the time not to rush the last pilots. And for this, I decide to give them 20 minutes after the last takeoff.
And what was the starting altitude at the end? 1,300 or 1,400 meters?
At the end, the start line was open in 1,300 meters because the pilots communicate that the cloud base is in 1,350, 1,400, but get a little bit more height in the last 20 minutes. So I think when the start line was open, the cloud base was in 1,500 meters or something like this. And to get a little bit difference to the cloud base, when the gaggle is circling there in the thermals, I think it is better to have more space to the clouds. And for this, I decided to make it to 1,300 meters.
Definitely. Any favorites for today? Do you think we will see some different results from the last 2 days?
Yeah, I think Lima Matthew always did a great job the last days. So he's, for this time, my favorite. But I think today it could change a little bit the complete situation because today is really normal gliding day with normal thermals. And it's possible that the normal glider pilots who fly her own tactics without any electrical power will finish the task faster than those who fly good with engine.
Okay, thank you for this insider information. We will hopefully speak with you again tomorrow when we have a next flying day. Now Pascal will join back and translate the interview with you to our German viewing audience. Thanks for being here, Marcus.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, welcome back. We just see all the gliders approaching the first turn point. Marcus was here with us, our race director, and now Pascal, could you please translate what he said also to our German viewing audience?
Ja, nochmal für die deutschen Zuschauer. Markus, der Sportdirektor, war gerade bei uns und hat uns ganz kurz einen Blick in seine Entscheidungsfindung da gegeben. Er hat dann von den Piloten die Rückmeldung bekommen, dass dass die Wolkenbasis dann doch etwas niedriger war. Deswegen wurde die Startlinie auf 1300 Meter reduziert und er hat die Startzeit auch noch auf 15 Minuten nach dem letzten Starter gesetzt, weil eben das Wetter heute doch großräumiger und längerfristiger nutzbar ist. Und er wollte deswegen einfach jedem Pilot dort die gleiche Möglichkeit, die gleiche Chance einräumen, dann natürlich auch die gleichen Ausgangskonditionen zu haben. And now we can see the first pilots have already turned. Of course, Florian with the silent already turned the first. So he stayed with the gaggle together, which is of course really good because he has to fly not that much distance like the others. And we can see him already a bit now in the lead, and the others are still in their cylinder. So I think he has a really good position now, and if he finds some good lift during his straight flying, so I think he's in a really good position. Also Robot again with 71, also quite high, 1400 meters, the second highest of the complete field. So again, Robot in a really good position. Or what do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I think Robert and Florian did an amazing job on the first leg. Especially Florian, he was able to follow the gliders, which are on paper faster than him. This is really crucial, especially here when they did not circle that much. And I think he will lose some time in the final glide when everybody will push forward and the speeds will go up, probably over 200 kilometers per hour on a nice day like this. But for now, he's in a good position. He's in the lead. I would say together somewhere with Robert. Robert is, of course, geographically further back, but yeah, I think both of them did a really good job. Also, we do not have anybody falling very far behind. The track that Uli and Tilo took turned out, I think, to be a bit worse than what the main group of gliders decided to do.
It looks like, and what we can also see that there is now not any clear option for all the pilots, and it looks like there are many options now, with Florian taking the little bit more southern route there, while Robert is deciding to stay north of the track. So we will see how this turns out. And yeah, I think
yeah, the gliders are spreading up a bit more. We do not have such a big group anymore. Florian decided to go further south. He just found a thermal, I think, on the 2D. We can go to the 3D. 3D has a bit of delay, so
yeah, it looks like he found a thermal. We will see if it's good, and it looks like most of the pilots take the decision now for the more northerly route.
yeah, they are moving away from the track they've flown the first time. The only glider now having a thermal is Uli, but he's far behind. He's again having to catch up everybody else. We did get a signal from Sierra Alpha X-ray just briefly, so we do not need to use the GPS tracking from WhatsApp anymore. He's just entering the cylinder. He'll have to go all the way to the center of the cylinder due to his handicap factor. The gliders we still do not have signal from is sadly Stefan, who we lost just after the start. But we did regain the signal from Whiskey Kilo. He is exiting the first third point, and he's actually in the leading group. Actually, not in the leading, in the following group, together with Tango Whiskey and Lima Lima.
Yeah, I think there's still nearly everything open today. I mean, we have quite some kilometers to go, and I think they are not too far away from each other now. So yeah, I think all the pilots have the chance to get in the first places today still. So and it looks like now nearly everybody has done the first turn point. I don't know if that's true. Maybe.
Just a second, I will put it up on the screen. So we seem to have most of the gliders already being past the first turn point. There is Uli still in the background, and we can only presume that Eco Sierra of Stefan is somewhere also in the mix. Very even field today. We do not have such big differences as we had in the days before. This is probably due to the better weather conditions. As we see now, I think Robert climbing in a straight line, so maybe using some of his energy now. The pilots are still pretty much as high as they were at the start. The pilots highest are the ones the furthest behind. We have Tilo here. He has fallen far behind. He's now circling a good thermal, but I think he's also one of those guys who haven't reached the first turn point yet.
Yeah, it looks like that Uli and Tilo didn't choose the best line there, and I think it would have been better for them to stay in the big gaggle like most of the pilots did. And we can see that all pilots, with the exception of Florian, is taking the more northerly route to fly the second leg now. 71 with Robert is turning a little bit back towards on track there.
Yeah,
So
maybe he saw Florian doing something smart and decided to copy that. Also, Tango Whiskey is following 7-1 with everybody else in hot pursuit. What I wanted to say is that we have Uli and Tila. They have to get back a lot of the time they lost in the 2 days, and I think it's perfectly reasonable and logical that they take risk. They try different lines. They have to do that. They do not have any
Yes.
other choice. Of course, all pilots here are competitors by heart. They do wanna win. They do wanna do well in the competitions, and if you are behind, this means taking more risks.
Yes, of course, they had to take some risk today, but it looks like that failed a little bit. Very sad for them. Yeah, very unfortunate. And we can see. Um, do you prepare another webcam for us?
Yes,
Mark?
this is in the city of well,
Yeah, it's near
Ober.
Hohenstein Ernsthal, just a few kilometers from Chemnitz.
We do have an agreement that he says all the German names, and
Yeah,
I just point them up on the map. So this is how it looks like. Wow.
yeah, I think really good. I mean, the bottom of the cloud is not too well structured, but I think there is lift anywhere over there, so they can
Yeah,
fly.
especially if you look at the front edge, there is a bit
Yeah.
better developed, smaller cumulus with quite a straight base, and I think pilots will be really happy to see a situation like that. This was 10 minutes ago, roughly few kilometers north of where our leaders are right now, but still very close to the task. We do not have any pilots circling at the moment. We presume they are still using some of their electrical energy, as they do not seem to be losing a lot of height, or they might found a good energy line and they are following it.
Yes, and I think Florian does a really, really good job there. The others could not get really up to him by now. And yeah, with the silent, I mean, he has a little bit of a disadvantage today, but he's really, really performing very, very well.
They do have to probably catch him before the last turn point.
Yeah.
That's how I would roughly estimate that. Due to the length of the task, his turn point radius is 10.6 kilometers. So if we look at one of the people following it, for example, Robert, Robert has to fly 5 kilometers further into the turn point, so he'll do around 10 kilometers more. And I think the last leg is 40 kilometers long. And if if he catches Florian at the edge, he will still be 10 kilometers behind with just 40 kilometers to go. And I think that would be a really, really big difference that he could not catch in such a small distance.
Yeah, of course. I think we have a new favorite for today so far with Florian there. And if Robert can catch up, he has to really, really fly fast and really get a very good line over there. And we don't know how much energy the both pilots used so far. And so if Florian has a lot of energy left on the last leg, I think this will be very great for him and he will be very happy.
As I can happily report to you that we also regained the signal from Eco Sierra, Stefan Langer. He is sadly a bit behind the rest of the gliders. He's just turned the first turn point, but luckily we do have his signal now, so we have a good overview of the situation. We roughly know for every glider where he is located. We did lost the signal again from Sierra Alpha X-Ray and Whiskey Kilo, but that happened only a few minutes ago, so we presume they are flying somewhere roughly around Lima Lima and Tango Whiskey.
And what we can see that Matthew is also still, I think, in a very good position, not too far behind the leaders. So he's still very happy, I think, and he look like he's flying with two other guys with Tango Whiskey and 71.
Yeah, 10 minutes difference behind, 10 minutes lead in front of the second place guy. It definitely allows him to just take it a bit easier, control the situation.
Taking a bit less risk and just flying with the others, maybe. Then at the last leg, flying a bit faster, maybe using a lot of his energy. We don't know how much he used already, but I think all of the pilots did not use that much so far. Just with some exceptions there, with maybe Bob. He was a bit low sometimes already. And now we can see Tango Whiskey firming behind 71.
Yeah, that's our first terminal on the second leg of the task. Gliders are roughly two-thirds done with their job today. Tango Whiskey seem to have a really nice terminal. We will see how others react to it. We do see there is a group of 4 gliders, Limazulo, Yankee, Whiskey Fox, and Delta Free just behind him. And Delta Free has decided to join this terminal. He saw the Tango Whiskey and we'll try to see if this is the right terminal for him as well. And others might not react in the same way. If we look a bit back to Giorgio in Yankee, he's still flying straight, ignoring Tango Whiskey circling on his left. Even though the terminal seems really stable and really strong, and up ahead, Robert does not have anything. Same goes from Florian. They have been flying straight without circling for a really, really long time now.
Yeah, so we will see how much value this good thermal has around the state of the race now. So maybe Robert is now thinking, oh shit, I haven't found the thermal there. So yeah, maybe he's, but he can't turn back, of course. This would be very bad for him. And we can see that Matthew is taking a more northerly route there. Maybe I think he done it yesterday already, doing a little bit more northerly route. And Matthew is really looking a lot of on the ground and taking also the wind in his thoughts. So yeah, he knows weather really good.
Yeah, so one of the gliders now who decided to change his plan is Limazulo of Luca, the inventor of the FAST system. He was flying straight together with, I think, Whiskey Kilo, and then decided to turn sharply left as he saw Delta Free in his thermal. We'll see how this decision pans out, but I think Delta Free and Tango Whiskies have now both decided to continue on, while Victor Fox, who decided to stay on course, he and Luca had also found maybe something. While we don't have that much interesting happening in the front, let's maybe take a look at the guys further behind. We have Tilo now just leaving the turn point. Again, not a really good day for him so far. It might change in the future. He might decide to do something different to the rest of the guys, but a lot of ground to catch up. Same applies for Uli, who did save his situation a bit better than Tilo. They were together in their bad situation. We sadly again lost the signal of Echo Sierra Whiskey Kilo and Sierra Alpha X-Ray. We will check with the GPS signal of Sierra Alpha X-Ray shortly while Pascal here translates and summarizes what happened in the last 50 minutes for our German audience.
Ja, für die deutschen Zuschauer nochmal, wir sehen jetzt in der Front dort, wie sich langsam die Favoriten von heute herauskristallisieren, also vor allen Dingen Florian Heilmann ganz vorne jetzt aktuell, gefolgt von Robert und Matthew. Matthew natürlich ein sehr, sehr, sehr großer Favorit. Er hat die ersten beiden Tage gewonnen, aber allerdings sind auch dahinter noch einige Piloten nicht sehr weit entfernt. And now we can see that Lima Lima with Matthew is maybe at the same level like Florian over there, and Robert is catching up a bit. This is no surprise for us. I think Robert is flying a better glider, but he has also has to fly a greater distance than.
Yeah, the gliders have caught up to Florian, who I think got caught up just a bit sooner than he would perhaps want to be caught up. We have Robert now hot on his tails. Florian is still one of the highest guys around here, and Lima Lima has also decided to fly his own way. He went a bit further north than anybody else. The only other pilot flying so far north is Tango Whiskey. And nobody is currently circling any significant thermals, as Lima Zulu has also left the thermal he had. So let's maybe take a look at how it looks like for Florian in the front. He has flown really lonely leg here. 7-1 of Robert is quite lower than him, so he can still feel a bit confident about that. But if he does not have anything in front to look forward to, it might be some troubles for him.
Yeah, and we don't know how much energy he has left. Maybe he has the full capacity left, so I think he can fly the complete task only with energy if he don't find any good thermal anymore. And what we could really well see if you just change back to the 2D view, that a lot of the pilots, I think we will just stick with this perspective now, that some of the pilots following this little forest there, this little ridge in the middle of the screen, and that is what we most of the time experience here in Germany, that when you follow the forests, you get really good energy lines. And we can see anyone climbing with some good lift there. I think it's Luca again, now climbing nearly with over 200 meters per second.
Yeah, Luca found a really nice climb. I think the only one right now. We are trying to get you the 2D tracking also of some other pilots that we have lost on our original 2D tracking. Hopefully we can see Eco Sierra and B17 also on this tracking. Let me just put that back on your screen. So here on the left, you can see the last position of Eco Sierra. We do believe that he's still a bit further back than the rest of the pack.
And what is happening with Bravo 17? He's still near the airport. Which time we had the last signal from him?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty old signal from the beginning of the task, and I do not expect him though to be contending for the lead right
Yes.
now. Sadly, we do not have the full coverage all the time, but I think we have a good enough coverage for now to give you a really nice view at what's happening in the race. Let's go back to the 3D view now, and let's maybe focus to the leaders. So let's go back to Florian. He still didn't find any thermals. Robert is catching him, still being a bit lower. As you can see, Robert in the background is using some energy probably as he's climbing while being in the straight line.
Yeah, maybe that's a good time now to use some energy, and maybe Florian did the same because he's not getting too low there, just always around 1000 meters above ground. So I think the good field in the middle is still very close together.
Yeah, we do have a live position of the Sierra Alpha X-ray. We will try to point that out on the map for you right now.
Yeah, I think
He's located just north of the zoo in Chemnitz, so roughly around Lima Zulo, roughly around where you can see Lima Zulo right now.
Yeah, I think still in not too bad place there, not in too bad condition. We don't know how high he is, and now we can see. I think Matthew found a thermal.
Yes, Matthew found a thermal. Uh, how many kilometers do pilots have left at this point? I would say around 60 for the guys who have to go all the way to the middle of the circle.
Yeah, look like around 60 kilometers left, but the thermal of Matthew is just about 1.5 meters, so not as good as we expected it to be. Because at the beginning of the task we had some really nice climbs, up to 4 meters per second.
Yeah, now the weather situation definitely looks a bit worse than we had around the start and finishing area. But the pilots do know that also the situation might improve when they come back towards the airport. As I will try to give you another view somewhere from Chemnitz. Let's see if we can find something actual. Uh, we have this view, which is 2 minutes old, that I will put on your screen right now. I'm sorry, the image quality is a bit worse. You can see some scattered clouds, but also some cumuluses with relatively good cloud base.
Yeah, and it looked like the overdevelopment is not a big deal. I mean, clouds are getting a bit higher now, but there is it doesn't look like a thunderstorm or anything like that. So I think they're doing good there. And Matthew's still in his thermal, so it looks from his perspective maybe that there is no good lift in front. So he takes the thermal there, while it looks like Florian didn't find any thermal so far.
Yeah, let's go to the Florian. He's about to join. I'm sorry, he's about to come to the turn point. He, of course, has to turn right on the edge of the red cylinder that you can see on the screen. Others will have to go further in. One of the pilots who have to go much further in is Joachim in his Tango Whiskey. He's one of the people who is not too high, just 800 meters right now. How high is the terrain around Chemnitz in the valley?
So I think around Chemnitz is about 300 to 400 meters high. I don't know for sure, but it must be anywhere around that. So we see that it's the conditions, I think, not really improving, but getting a bit worse. So most of the pilots didn't circle for quite a long time, and also it doesn't seem that there are good energy lines anymore, because pilots are getting lower and lower.
Yeah, they're getting lower and lower, and at the same time, it is not worth using a fast system just to climb if there is no reason for that. I'm sure they will still be waiting as long as possible before they get rid of all the excess energy they have. 2 kilowatt hours of energy are enough to fly almost 50 kilometers with most of these gliders. So if they still have energy left from the beginning, all of the energy left from the beginning, I think some of these guys can now come home safely even without using, even without thermaling anymore. But I'm sure they know best how
And
much
now we
energy they have
can
left.
And now we can see Robert catching up with Florian, but Florian is circling now in around 1 meter per second. So maybe Robert will join him.
Yeah, Florian is also still almost 200 meters higher than Robert, so it's also a question if Robert can get the same thermal while being so much lower than him. Of course, 200 meters is not such a big difference, but in these tricky conditions, every meter counts.
Yes, of course, it can make a big difference if you are just 200 or 300 meters lower behind them. And I think we have a view of Matthew again over there, which it looks like maybe he's using some energy now. Maybe he has a lot of things left. And Whiskey Kilo is just beneath him, just close to him. So they are flying together at the moment.
Yeah, as we take a second to look at all of your comments on the YouTube page, I can see Angelis already answered most of your questions from his account. So thank you for doing that. Uh, we are really glad to see all of you following us, and we are happy to provide this service for you. Please keep the questions coming. We will try to answer as many of them as possible. Also, make sure to like the stream, subscribe, and to share the stream onwards so we get as many people watching this interesting sport and really exciting competition day here in Germany.
So maybe we can see Robert again here. It looks like he did some circles there, but not staying because maybe the lift is too low for him, not too strong. And yeah, maybe we can take a little look at the back, how Uli and Tilo is performing.
Yes. While the interesting stuff happens in the front, we see Tilo had a thermal here. He decided to take his completely own path towards the second turn point. He's still now we have some weak signal for him. This means he's still a long way behind. Uli, on the other hand, was able to catch up a bit to the rest of the pack. He has a weak thermal, and we still sadly do not have any information about B17, Eco Sierra, and Sierra Alpha X-ray. Of course, Sierra Alpha X-ray has the GPS signal sending to us, and we will check it at the appropriate time. From the pilot circling, we now have two thermals here. One is occupied by Victor Fox, and the other is occupied by the both Slovenian pilots of Nace and Luca, and they are joined by the Italian of Giorgio in his Yankee. So really strong performance in gliders here, all in one place. We have two Ventus Freeze and Lux 17C, so gliders with the highest handicap factors, all in the one place. While we are looking at this, Matthew is already slowly entering the last turn point. He will have to go roughly two-thirds in before he can turn, while pilots like Florian are pretty much there and will be able to turn in just a few kilometers. So we see designation Tango here, the call sign Tango for Florian here on the 2D tracker. This is, of course, X-ray in our 3D tracker. If somebody is confused, he is now circling, and when he gets to this edge here, he will be probably the first pilot on the way home.
Yeah, in a very good position now and still climbing now around 1,200, nearly 1,300 meters high. So in a really strong position with Matthew, who is the lead so far, only 1,000 meters high, but looks like they are also climbing at the edge of the cylinder.
Yeah, but not as strong as the thermal that both Germans pilots have a bit further south. So we have Tango Whiskey and Whiskey Kilo in their own climb here, but just a bit south we have 7-1 and X-ray in a stronger climb, I think. The values are shifting up and down a bit, but I would say Robert and X-ray are in the better position. Also, they have a slower handicap. They will be able to turn home soon. If we go to the 2D tracking, which is a bit ahead of the 3D tracking, we can see they have left the thermal probably just below the cloud base and will be able to turn the turn point very soon. Some of the pilots who are now flying a bit on their own include Luca, who has left his thermal, He has not been in the front today, the whole day. He has been holding back a bit. He's, of course, one of the pilots in front in the total results. So we do expect him to score well every day. But I think he's not in the best position today.
No, certainly not in the best position, but it looks like the conditions are improving now again. I mean, everybody found some thermals over there, some stronger, some weaker, but everybody found something. And yeah, it will be a very exciting finish. I mean, it's only, I think, around 40 kilometers left. So it really depends now how much energy the pilots have left. So how much they can use on the last leg. And we expect, I think, a pretty fast finish today because most of the pilots will have some energy left for the last leg.
Yeah, what means with the better conditions in the last leg of the task is that the pilots who have used energy in the areas of the task with worse better have probably done the correct thing, as you do not need to use energy if you already have a 3 meter climb, for example.
Yes,
And
of course.
if somebody might have used some energy to catch up when flying over Chemnitz, that might be a good move, even though he had to use the energy others didn't have to. We have Florian
Yeah.
now being the first one, as expected, to turn the last turn point, and he will now be ruthlessly caught up by everybody else. We still don't see that on the 3D view. You can see it on the 2D view. He will, I think, fly past Luca. Delta Free, who is circling a thermal. He will definitely try to see how good that thermal is, maybe do a few turns, and then he will soon be able to go into the final glide.
Yes, of course, and maybe he doesn't need that much height anymore to get final glide altitude. Maybe he will join the thermal just for some turns again. We don't know how high cloud base is over there, but we expect it to be at around, I think, 1,300 meters. So he can make 100 meters in the thermal. Don't know if we want to waste some time there to center the thermal. What do you think? Is it worth for 100 meters try to center the thermal again and then just leave it after 100 meters?
Well, it depends on how strong the thermal is, of course. I must say
Yes.
it does look strong, by the way, how much delta free is circling. We do not know what kind of McCready he expect, what kind of final glide he has in mind. We must know that gliders like Silent 2 cannot fly that fast, so are not that efficient flying fast as, for example, Ventus. Um, it's really hard to say, but if the values that Delta Free has are exact, then I would definitely do a few turns there before going into the final glide.
Yeah, but if we now take a look at the 2D again, it looks like Florian just flew through the thermal again and just maybe uh, got a little bit slower through that area so he can gain some height during flyings in straight flight.
Yeah,
And
that makes me think that he is probably happy with the altitude he has
yeah,
or with the energy he has left. He has flown really well today, and we expect him to score a really good. As we do this, we might take a moment to see where Sierra Alpha X-ray is located. He is just northwest of the city of Chemnitz. I will point that out roughly on the map. I think he's around here, around Fox of Uli. That would be my, or maybe here. How do you?
I think more around direction of Frankenberg, as
Yeah.
it looks like, just short of the beginning of the turn cylinder, so not very far from his turning point. So
Yes. So if we go back to 3D view, the Florian is now in the lead, going home. He hopes he will not be caught by other pilots. One of those who definitely hopes he will be able to catch him is Robert. Robert, again, flying very well today, very strong performance. And behind him, Matthew. So our free podium finisher from yesterday doing a really good job again today. And I think they're favorites for the win again today. And the two followers today, which emerged, which were not so close in the battle for the lead in the last 2 days, are Tango Whiskey and Whiskey Kilo, both doing a really good job. And following them closely, they're also the only two other pilots who have turned the last turn point. and I think the battle for the win will go down between 5 of them.
Yes, definitely it will do so, and we can see Florian the highest of all of these, and
And
already
furthest in the front.
yes, furthest in the front, and we will see how good his airplane will behave now. I mean, the others, I think they can fly a little bit faster.
Yeah, let's look at the goal arrival heights, which are calculated approximately. We do expect, I think they're calculated for the glide ratio of 40 today, but with the energy remaining, Florian for sure has final glide to the airport.
Yeah, I think that too. So Florian will try to make it as fast as possible now, and he hopes that nobody can catch up. But it doesn't look like. I mean, Robert still some kilometers behind him,
Yeah,
and we
also
have
much lower.
some live signal of Jan now. Maybe we can take a look at him if he already turned.
Yeah, we just saw him briefly here. He is in the turn point, but we don't know if he's circling back or still going to the turn point. I think based on the situation we had in the previous minutes, he still probably has to go to the center
Yes,
of the
it
turn
looked
point.
like. And they have Thermal there with Victor Fox and Charlie together. So, and now we can see that Florian is doing still very well in the first position over there. I think it's maybe around 5 to 10 kilometers. What do you think to the second one?
No, I think it's to the oh yeah, of course the difference. I would
Yes.
say less. I would say less. The whole leg that you can see on the screen, the blue line, vertical line, is 40 kilometers. So the difference here is, I would say, 3-4 kilometers. But with the altitude difference as well, I think Florian is on a good way to go. We can see some other gliders now on this view. So Ekasiara of Stefan is back on our screens. He's one of the gliders who will probably not be too happy with his performance today again. And Tilo, who has saved his situation, but is still far behind, not even passing the city of Chemnitz. Uli also, his progress of catching up has slowed down a bit, and he has fallen back to the last few places.
Yeah, so we can see that I think there's a good field in the middle which are very close together, so they will not lose too much today. And I think they didn't take too much risk today, like Thilo and Uli did. And but both of the pilots had to do because they scored not really well today, so they had to take some risk. Unfortunately, it failed for them.
Yes, but that's the only way that can do it. We can see Florian having some moments of climbing in a straight fight, probably catching some of the thermals from the cumuluses he's passing by. Uh, Probably just now really hoping that the pilots in the back cannot catch him, but I'm quite optimistic that all the pilots in the back do not have enough energy to come home on the energy alone, especially because we can see them thermaling right now, and they're also not that high. If we put the altitude indication back on the screen, they're 1,000 meters, so almost 200 meters below Florian.
Ja, nochmal für die deutschen Zuschauer. Also es sieht ganz danach aus, wie wenn Florian hier das Rennen machen würde in seiner Silent. Der hat jetzt einigen Vorsprung und ist auch in einer guten Höhe. Er braucht nicht mehr viel Höhe, um hier sicher anzukommen. Wir wissen natürlich auch nicht, wie viel Energie, elektrische Energie er noch benutzen darf. Deswegen erwarten wir seine Ankunft hier in circa 15 Minuten und dann gefolgt von Robert in der 7.1. Ja, es war ein sehr spannendes Rennen und ich denke, das wird sich jetzt noch fortsetzen. Es sieht ganz danach aus, wie wenn das Mittelfeld noch sehr nah beieinander ist.
Yeah, if we take the look at our last webcam for today, this is just south of the airfield, so we can see quite favorable conditions in the area. And now if we go live back to tracking for the remainder of this task without any interruptions, I think Matthew is flying more confidently now. He decided to ignore the thermal that Whiskey Kilo and Tango Whiskey and 7-1 are circling. Maybe he thinks he can get home with the energy remaining. Florian still in the lead and also still holding the altitude. He hasn't lost a single meter, so he's probably using now the remainder of the energy he has left.
Yeah, it looked like so he climbs during straight flying. Maybe he has some thermal flying through, but I think he's also using the FES quite a lot there, just putting out the last energy reserves. And if we take a look at the arrival height, we can already see a positive value there for Florian. So I think we only have around 15 minutes left for him to arrive at the airfield.
Yes, you were asking before how big his lead is. Of course, Silent Wing supports um, this graphic, as you can see on the screen right now. So around 5 kilometer lead before Matthew at this moment, with Matthew being much lower. So if everything goes to plan, Florian might have this one in the back today.
Yeah, and it looks like Matthew is what we predicted, that he's flying very fast on the last leg, and he didn't take any risk today. I think that was his tactics for the day. Just fly with the gaggle and don't lose anything. And
Yeah.
we can see Eric again, which also done a very good job for today, I guess.
Very good performance. Yeah, he is the one of the only ones in the front group who is still circling, and he's now being joined by Tango Whiskey. They're gonna be fighting for the last podium positions, I think, with 7-1. And Luca has also caught up. He had a really quiet race today, not in the lead a lot, flying on his own, and now he is, I think, the sole candidate for the sixth position of today. He's doing very well in the total standings, so he also doesn't need to take so much risk as some of the other guys. But I'm sure he will still be disappointed if he finish as it looks like now.
Yeah, but I think he will do a great job in the next days as well, where we expect some good weather. I think like today. And what we can see is that Robert is now behind Matthew. I don't know where Robert lost some time there, but Matthew is, I think, really fast now. And I think the distance decreases a little bit to Florian. But I think Matthew needs some more height, I guess.
Yeah, we can trust Silent Wings to tell us this. So, as you can see by our calculations, Matthew still needs to gain around 400 meters to scrape across the finish, which is quite a lot, even with the fast. Uh, we do hope he did not uh, overestimated how much energy he has, and that he will not. I still think it's not necessary for him to push too much today, as we said so many times today.
Yeah, and what I'm really surprised about, I mean, Eric is a really, really good pilot, but he's also the youngest pilot in the field. Done very, very many hours of flying this year because he's in the German army and he's a sports soldier and he can fly for many, many hours. And he did a really, really good job today. I think he's around the fourth place right now.
Yeah, we definitely expect him to finish in the top 5. We can also tell you that Stefan in Nicosiera has joined our live coverage now. He is just entering his turn point. Again, a bit disappointing performance for him. He will be looking forward to the next day to catch up the lost time again today.
So maybe we can switch back to Florian. How much kilometers he has left to the airfield? And he has around 16 kilometers. So what do you think? How long will it take for him? 10 minutes, maybe?
I would say less. But it's hard to judge here. We are sitting on the ground. Yeah, I'm sure he's still a bit nervous, still calculating how to use the energy the best. We must know that the pilots cannot use energy anymore after the last turn point, so he must be careful that even if he has some energy left, not to unnecessarily turn on the engine after the Volkstein point. Also, he cannot fly faster than 200 kilometers after the Volkstein point. He has to be also wary of that, not to make, I think, really silly mistake in the case now when he is easily in the reach of the airfield. We have Whiskey Kilo now, probably being the second glider who will be in the reach of the airfield. Again, as you said, really good performance from young Eric, but he's not flying directly towards the last turn point, which makes me think that he's probably out of the available electric energy, maybe looking for some clouds still, even though he's on the verge of the...
Yeah, that's possible. Yesterday he used too less energy. He had quite some energy left yesterday, so maybe he used it a bit too optimistic today. We don't know exactly, and what we recently saw that Florian was flying not too fast, just around 100 kilometers per hour. So it looks like that he uses the FES on the last leg quite a bit, because when you're flying too fast and turning on the FES, this is not very effective, because if you're flying I think around 150, then the FES wouldn't bring you that much.
Yeah, the FES can be used still the speeds you just mentioned, so 150, 160 kilometers per hour, but the most effective speed for the FES is around 90 kilometers per hour when climbing and around 95 kilometers per hour when flying straight. And you can see some spikes of really good value values for Florian, which makes me think that he's just now using the remainder of the energy so he can safely get back home. And I don't think Matthew or Robert can catch him now, especially now as they decided to circle a thermal, so they are definitely not high enough.
Yeah, Matthew, I think he pushed a bit too hard there, but it looks like he has a very good thermal now with Robert joining. So I think this will be a quite exciting race for the place 2 and place 3.
Yeah, I'm really interested if Whiskey Kilo can catch them up and maybe take a podium spot for himself. He has quite a good position, I think, and also I would put some focus on Luca. He
Yes, of
caught up
course.
a lot. He was in the 6th place just a few minutes ago. Of course, he is still not in the reach of the airfield, but Luca, being a master of using the energy, he knows the system in and out. I'm sure he has a trick up his sleeve. Also, Tango Whiskey, just maybe holding on back a bit, playing it a bit safer than Eric at this point. I think we have a really interesting fight on for the remaining podium finishes, as Florian will probably take it home today with his really superior performance.
Yes, I think the first place is now saved for Florian, but I think place 2 and 3 is still open for around five pilots, which will make it a very, very nice finish for us today.
Yes, as you can see, the advantage for Florian still 5 kilometers. He hasn't lost anything, even with the slower pace, even with the slower glide ratio. So really, really good job for him. On the other hand, we can maybe see how far Eric is behind Matthew. So still 6 kilometers, which is a lot. I do not. I would still put my money on Robert and Matthew to um,
Yeah,
win the podium spots. They probably have some reserve left in their batteries, and yeah, we are starting to see some clear favorites for the total race now.
yes.
It might seems that we'll have the same podium as yesterday, just in a different order.
Yeah, it looks like, and Matthew now maybe on place 2, while Robert is taking a little bit a different route than Matthew and had some climbs there during straight flying. And on the 2 day, we can see now that Florian, I guess, is already at Wolkenstein. So he's on the last 5 kilometers, and he will just, I think, arrive in a few minutes over the airfield.
Yes, we do have a bit delay on the 3D tracking, so we will follow the remainder of the race on the 3D tracking. So this is the last time you'll see the 2D tracking for now, and we will try to bring you some live pictures from the airfield as well, if we get that working.
Yes, and now it looks like Matthew is clearly on the second place, and behind him Robert again. Robert then really good flying the last days, and I think the biggest surprise of the day is Florian. We didn't expect him to compete that well in the good weather, because this island, I think, is really good in middle conditions, in a little bit weaker conditions. And yeah, that wasn't really what we expect today. We expected that the Ventus and the Antares perform a little bit better in this good climb rates.
Yeah, our predictions was wrong. But what I found really interesting is now Robert circling a thermal even while being probably in the final glide. Will this maybe allow the Whiskey Kilo to catch him up? He's
And
not far behind.
and Matthew doing the same, a little bit in front of him.
Yeah, they're just on the verge of the final glide. This is really, really interesting. It seems like they do not have any energy
Yes.
left, as I was just notified that Florian has crossed the finish line.
And
Well,
Whiskey Kilo coming very close again.
yes. Let's just follow Florian through. I think he deserves it for his really good performance. Congratulations, Florian. With all this advantage, he will also climb quite a lot in the combined standings. And let's go back to the fight for the remaining podium positions. We have a four-way battle now, actually five-way battle between Matthew, Robert, Eric, Luca, and in Tango Whiskey we have Joachim.
Yeah, and Whiskey Kilo is now really catching up with Robert. I think now in front of Robert, so he's looking for the third place now.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
depends how much circle Matthew will do, just short of the finish line.
Also, I would like to put attention on Luca. He is a bit higher and with a much better airplane.
Yes, so maybe Lucas can catch up. So we have a very exciting finish today. The first place was very clear for Florian, but the other podium places are still on the go here. So we can see Robert still in his thermal. I mean, it's a good thermal, but he needs some more height, I guess. And it looks like he used all of his remaining energy.
While I think Luca still might have some, we can see him climbing now in the straight line. Robert had decided to leave the thermal, but I don't think Robert, even with the altitude he has, cannot catch up. He's 100 meters higher than Lima Zulu, but this is a fight between 50-meter glider without flaps and Ventus free with flaps and everything. So
Yes,
I think
and
this one is lost for Robert, at least speaking about podium places.
yeah, possible. And Matthew's still in the thermal. I mean, it's a good thermal, but
It's a really
now
good thermal,
now
but
maybe Whiskey Kilo can catch up with him in just a few seconds.
yeah, Matthew is much higher, and he will now step on the gas, and we'll see if he can. Uh, what was the better option? Let's put speed up on the screen, so we'll see who is faster. They're all pushing quite a lot, except Whiskey Kilo. We must know that gliders have tailwind in this segment, so with Whiskey Kilo flying just 120 kilometers with roughly 10-20 kilometers of tailwind, this can tell me only two things. Either he's too low or he's still using the remainder of the energy.
Yeah, maybe he's still using the engine there for some climb. And Matthew now very fast, and
Yeah,
Lima Zulu flying
he's
at the
climbing.
same speed. So we have a very close finish, I think.
Yeah, this is really exciting. Sadly, we do not have live camera pictures, but we will try to get them to you if we get the link to that. So if we go back to the 3D view and focus on that now. So we have nobody using this engine anymore from this point on, as they will be penalized with 30 seconds. We see Whiskey Kilo probably using the last remaining watts he has remaining. You said he made a mistake yesterday. He used too little energy. Of course, no penalty for that, but it's just time wasted. And Lima, Lima, and Lima Zula are now the two contenders which will probably fight for the podium.
Yes, and Whiskey Kilo very close behind, but I think the others are very fast flying now. So I think Whiskey Kilo will finish here on the fourth place. Congratulations to Eric. He did a very great job today.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Let's not put commentators' curse on anyone.
But Lima Zulu and Lima Lima, I think it's still open for place 2.
Yeah, this will be really, really interesting between these two pilots. Let's put them head to head. They have different airplanes. They are just 380 meters apart. It seems like Matthew has this one in the bag, while Luca will be pushing really hard to try to get that podium place. Really, really interesting finish.
Yes, of course, very exciting for all of us, I guess. And yeah, it looked like Matthew did second place, and so he did a really, really great job again. But I think we had some different people leading today. I mean, Robert is a little bit behind now, what we didn't expect it from him. So, and Lima Zulu.
But Robert is catching Whiskey Kilo. Of course, which place the pilot finishes is not so important here in this SGP, as only the time difference matters. But still, it will feel nice for Lima Lima to take another small bottle of champagne home, and also the second podium finish for Luca in 3 days now. So congratulations to those. This is our preliminary podium finishes. So Florian in first, Matthew in second, and Luca in third. And let's look at the fight for the fourth position.
Really, really close now.
This is going to be really exciting. Who is going to be, of course, GPS data is not accurate, but maybe Robert just took it on the line. We will tell you this when we see the official results, but really, really exciting. Really, really interesting.
Yes. Nochmal ganz kurz für die deutschen Zuschauer. Die ersten sind jetzt gerade im Landeanflug. Florian ist schon gelandet. Er hat hier das Rennen gemacht. Da hätten wir eigentlich heute andere Favoriten gehabt in diesen guten Wetterbedingungen. Aber Florian hat wirklich einen guten Job heute gemacht. Und der Kampf um Platz 2 und 3 war heute sehr, sehr spannend. Sieht aus, wie wenn Matthew aus Australien heute den zweiten Platz ergattert hat, während Lima Zulu mit Luca direkt dahinter ist auf Platz 3. Okay, so what about the others? Slowly getting there, I think?
Yeah, I think we saw 3 different leagues of gliders here today. Florian being all on his own, really good job. Then the second league, which we just saw across the finish, and I see this is the third group. Delta 3, he was holding up much better. Also, Yankee, I think they were quite close, especially to Luca. They were flying with Luca halfway through the task, and they kind of lost themselves here in the last 2 legs. Also, we can see the signal of Sierra Alpha X-Ray now joining them. We always have his signal when he's close. Today, not such a big surprise as yesterday. Also, Eco Sierra now on our screens, and Tilo in his FES. He just turned the last turn point. Again, not a really good day for him. We'll see who will lead home this last group of gliders still flying.
Yes, so we can see this group of gliders flying pretty close together now, so they will fight for the last places there, I guess, and not for the last places, but this is the last chance for them to fight for their positions now. And what we did see in the back there was Tilo, I think, having some problems today. Maybe we can do an interview in the evening and ask him what happened to him.
Yes, but before we do that, we do have an interview from the grid from our race winner today. Congratulations, Florian, again from the booth.
So Florian, gratuliere dir erstmal recht herzlich zum ersten Platz.
Danke.
Bin wirklich sehr begeistert heute von deiner Flugperformance. So Florian, gratuliere dir erstmal recht herzlich zum ersten Platz.
Danke.
Bin wirklich sehr begeistert heute von deiner Flugperformance.
Yeah, so sadly experiencing some connection issues at this point. We will try to give you the interview with Florian a bit later on when hopefully internet decides to work better again. While we wait for that, we can look at the remaining gliders still making their way to the finish. They are still led by Charlie of Yerney and Delta Free. Again, this second group will have a small bitter taste today, still not being able to catch up with the leaders, but we still have some days in front of us and still some options to make their result better.
Yes, I think an overall great job of the competitors, and so we hope that we will fix our technical problems with the interviews shortly after landing from Florian. So
Yeah, I think we have it now. Let's put Florian back on the screen and let's hear what he has to say about today's flying.
Gratuliere dir erstmal recht herzlich zum ersten Platz.
Danke.
Bin wirklich sehr begeistert heute von deiner Flugperformance, die du da abgeliefert hast. Wirklich Wahnsinn. Eine kurze Frage, wie war denn das Wetter überhaupt?
Also das Wetter war überragend. Vor dem Abflug war schon klar, dass sich so eine Wolkenstraße Richtung erster Wende aufbaut. Die war so in 1400. Und erstaunlicherweise konnte ich auf S-Gewölb, also maximal Negativgewölb, mit 170, 180 selbst mit den Wänden gut mitfliegen und habe an den richtigen Stellen dann den FES benutzt, sodass ich quasi den Anschluss nicht verloren habe. Und dadurch konnte ich mir dann quasi schon an der ersten Wende einen riesen Vorsprung erarbeiten, weil ich ja eher umdrehen darf.
Wahnsinn, das klingt ja wirklich... Also kamst du mit deinem Flugzeug super klar, warst der Herz und eine Seele, sagst du?
Ja, genau. Also ich habe einen Bart gekurbelt mit ungefähr 3,3 im Schnitt und dann nochmal einen so mit 1,3, 1,4 und den Rest alles noch mit Motorunterstützung und Linie quasi. Läuft.
Genial. Dann, wie gesagt, herzlichen Glückwunsch zum ersten Platz.
Danke.
So this was some words from Florian. Will you translate them for our English?
yes, of course. So I think he's very happy, and what we expected that was that there was a good cloud street on the first leg. What we saw, and he said that he could compete with the Ventus 3, for example, which is quite a big surprise for me. So yeah, he did compete with them and stayed with them close together at the first leg, and then he could turn a bit earlier than the others, so he was in front from the beginning of the second leg. So really good job, and I think we have Matthew now with the interview.
Yeah, let's go to Matthew.
Hello Matthew, congratulations to the second place.
Thanks.
And how was the weather condition?
It was okay. Maybe a little bit stronger than expected.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't have too many troubles.
Oh, nice. And with your energy management, was it okay, or do you use the FAS system too much? Or
No, I used it the right amount, but it's challenging on days like today when there's no spot you have to use it. So you have to decide where to get rid of the energy.
Okay, and did you use it when you straight flight on the task, or do you
and when climbing, yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
So we did predict correctly. There was not much energy usage going on as we follow the last gliders to come to the finish. Don't go anywhere. We have a award ceremony coming up very shortly, and also we will give you the interview with the third place finisher. That was Luca today. Again, a really good, solid performance from him.
Hello, Luca. Congratulations to the third place to the Ventus 3. And how was the day for you?
So the start was very good. We were racing pretty nearly to the first turn point under the cloud street. But then the second leg became more tricky. So some pushed low over the city, but Yeah, so, and then third leg was also quite okay.
Okay, and with your performance with the glider, was it fine or how did you feel today?
So maybe when I was here, maybe I should drop water a little bit faster because then I could climb a bit faster at the end when still I had some energy, about 1 kWh to spend. So, but only after finish line I figured out that maybe good idea was to drop water earlier.
Then thank you very much and congratulations to the surf.
Thank you.
So that was Luca, and in the background we could have already heard some other gliders reporting the 5K, so coming into the finish line. While we wait for the award ceremony to begin, we will bring you some more 3D footage from the pilots we have not seen so much today. One of them is Stefan, which you can see on the screen right now. He has a better coverage now, so we are happy to have him on screen. Also in the background we see Tilo. Tilo also coming home. He should arrive without any problems and outlandings, hopefully from this point on. What I found it really interesting is what Matthew said, that he did not know when to use the energy.
Yeah, I think that was our prediction as well, that it's really hard to decide today when to use the energy at which point. And what he said was that he also used it during thermaling, what I think most of the pilots, of the other pilots, don't like to do that much. Most of them use it during straight flight. That's also what Florian said, that he used it to stay above and to stay near the clouds and to stay near the others and don't push it too hard to the ground.
Yeah, I was surprised though that he did not use some of this energy before entering that thermal that he had at the end. If you remember, he was circling just before the finish line. It proved to be a good move. He was able to beat everybody else to the finish from that group he was flying with, but still really good performance. And when you mentioned using the engine in the thermals, why I see this being useful is you cannot, as we said before, you cannot fly fast with the engine. But in the thermal, you
Yeah,
fly slower,
yeah.
you climb anyway, you just climb more.
I don't really understand it as well, so maybe we have to do some asking with the pilots. We have to do some interview with the pilots and ask them what is the advantage of using the FES in straight flying. And during we are talking, we can see Victor Fox over Wolkenstein circling.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Is he that low? He is currently on.
Yeah.
Where do we have his height? He's at 900 meters. That should be enough for the 5 kilometers he has left to the finish.
So I really don't understand the move from him there.
Yeah, interesting choice. As we have Stefan coming home very soon as well. We also got the live pictures from the award ceremony, which will begin very shortly in just a minute or two. We are just waiting for the pilots to arrive from the grid, and they will be a short ceremony as you're by now probably used to, led by Uwe.
Yes, so we are just waiting for the pilots to get to the podium there, to the podest, and it looks like Stefan is going to finish in just a few seconds. I mean, not finish, but going in the last turn point there, which is at the location where we had some dinner yesterday. It was very great with all the pilots. They are all very friendly. We're like a big family here together. Everybody is laughing with each other. So very nice atmosphere, I must say.
Yeah, really nice move by the organizers. We got a really nice dinner. Also, courtesy to the to the sponsors, we got some drinks covered by them. Thank you very much. On the screen, you can see all the people, all the companies who made this stream possible. We are really thankful for them. They're the ones who make events like this possible. And yeah, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting our sport.
Yes, and still no move there at the live camera. Still nobody to see for the award ceremony.
Yeah, we can show you this as we can see the car that our cameraman loved so much one day ago. Um, not much happening yet. We do not have information what's the delay from. Maybe they are calculating some energy consumption. We do not want to make the same mistake as we did yesterday with announcing the winners too fast. While we wait for that to happen, we can see Bob and Stefan finishing their probably the last two pilots that we're gonna see finishing in our live stream. If we look further back, Tilo and Uli flying in, well, not in tandem again, but
Pretty close together at the back there. And I think, unfortunately, they are the losers again. Yeah, so I hope that they will improve their performance the ongoing days. We expect some very good weather, so please tune us on again here. We will be then doing the live stream for the next few days, of course, as well.
yeah, we expect weather to be better than in the last days. Maybe not as good as today. We were really lucky. I think it's ideal weather for this kind of competition. Too good weather is also not. Well, pilots
Yes.
are of course happy to have good thermals, but for us here in the commentary booth and for you on the ground, I think it's more exciting to see also pilots struggling a bit, having to work hard for the thermals and.
Yes, and the problem with with very good weather is what Matthew said, that he didn't know when to use the FES.
Yeah, always a concern. We will be back in just a short moment. We will check on the award ceremony and we will back with you in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so welcome back. I hope you still stayed here. We'll go to the live ceremony right now.
And Luca, congratulations to all. Wash your hands after this. Yes, of course, very important. And I want to congratulate you. I think Flo had the best ideas today, or? And the best ship for this task today. Flo on place 1, preliminary today, and well done. I'm suppressed. Don't find words. Again, on place 2 now, Matthew. New experience for you. Maybe no more daily present we have to look for. He can take a bigger run, I think so. And Luca, place 3. You both have a lot of experience on this place. Third time now, or yesterday you have been on no, on Thursday. So twice, third time on the podium. Congratulations, and now, Jörg, please hand over something very important for our pilots, that they have something to drink. They are under alcohol or something like this. Please join the group, the crowd.
As we do get some champagne spray, something that I personally was really missing in the first 2 ceremonies, we again do apologize for the delay. We will try to make it faster tomorrow when we expect another nice flying there here in Großrückerswalde. This is the first time I said it without looking at the paper. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm even more proud on the pilots today who have flown really, really well. Congratulations to Florian. Congratulations to our podium finishers. That's it from me and from Pascal, and hopefully see you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Tschüss an alle deutschen Zuhörer. Bis morgen.